motion to terminate Keith Freeman.
You could feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances, while the township supervisor...
Hold on tight, because this scandal makes every other mayor's controversy look tame. Imagine this: a mayor caught trying to bribe a federal agent. That's right, Tiffany Henyard, the self-proclaimed super mayor of Dolton, Illinois, has taken her situation to a whole new level. The rumor mill is in overdrive, with whispers that she tried to bribe the very agents investigating her. If true, this could be the start of something that spirals into an even darker and more shocking story.
Several new developments in South suburban Dalton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial reports.
Let's rewind a bit. If you haven't been following Tiffany Henyard's string of never-ending controversies, buckle up. It's been a wild ride. For those new to the chaos, Henyard has been under intense scrutiny for quite some time. It feels like every week there's a fresh headline about her, whether it's blowing tens of thousands in taxpayer dollars on lavish parties, misusing government credit cards, or hiring questionable people to run the village. And this isn't just idle gossip. People are outraged. Now, with whispers of bribery in the mix, it's clear this saga is far from over. Rumor has it Henyard is getting desperate as the FBI tightens its grip on her operations. Insiders say she's being investigated for a laundry list of potential crimes, including shady deals, fraud, and financial mismanagement.
Unfortunately, we knew it was going to be a little messy, but it's just something we felt important that had to be done, that should be done. But like I said, just some accountability.
If even half of these rumors are true, this could be one of the most shocking corruption scandals we've seen in years. And now, word is she tried to bribe one of the federal agents investigating her. Seriously. The story blew up recently when it was leaked that Henyard might have tried to offer a deal to a federal agent tasked with taking her down. If this turns out to be true, it's not just bad, it's catastrophic. Think about it. She's already under multiple investigations, and now she's allegedly trying to bribe her way out of trouble. Who even thinks that's a smart move when the feds are involved? This doesn't just scream desperation. It paints the picture of someone who's completely out of control.
The township residents are paying for her fund.
And let's not forget, if these rumors prove to be true, bribing a federal agent could land her in prison for a very long time. It's no surprise the FBI is sniffing around. They've been digging into more than just that alleged bribe. They're also looking into her extravagant lifestyle, all seemingly funded by the public. We're talking luxury travel, first-class tickets, and huge sums spent on online shopping sprees.
For a year now, we've been reporting on questionable spending by a South suburban...
There's a reason Illinois' comptroller cut off her access to state funds. A lot of money has been flowing out of Dolton's accounts with little to no explanation. In fact, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was hired at $400 an hour to investigate Henyard's spending, and what she uncovered was shocking. Under Henyard's leadership, the town racked up a staggering $3.6 million deficit. That's right, in just a few short years, Dolton went from financial stability to drowning in debt.
And that is the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Since taking office in 2021, Henyard has been wreaking havoc on Dolton's finances, and it goes far beyond throwing lavish parties. There's also been a string of canceled bargaining sessions with firefighters, leaving them without a contract for years, all while Henyard kept making things worse. Union reps have directly blamed her for the breakdown. And now, on top of everything else, she's facing a federal investigation, not just for corruption, but for bribery. At this point, it almost feels like she's daring the feds to come after her. But Henyard isn't acting alone. Surrounding her is a cast of questionable figures that only adds to the chaos. Take Lysis Lacey, the former deputy police chief, who's been charged with bankruptcy fraud. Despite being fired by the trustees, he still shows up to work as if nothing's happened.
Appointment, that's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next steps.
And get this, Lacey was one of Henyard's most loyal allies, working right alongside her while the FBI was serving subpoenas and gathering financial records from village employees. Together, Lacey and Henyard appear to be at the center of what looks like a full-blown corruption ring, with insiders claiming Lacey has been helping her cover up some of her worst offenses. Is it any wonder the federal investigators are closing in? But it doesn't stop there. Henyard's administration has been accused of retaliating against anyone who dares to speak out against her. One of her critics, former Dolton trustee Valeria Stubbs, believes the mayor may have been involved in an attack on her home. The climate of fear and intimidation seems to be growing more intense.
Too has investigated Henyard's use of a police security detail, taking officers off the street and costing thousands of dollars in overtime.
Stubbs' house was riddled with bullets last year, and she's convinced it was due to her vocal opposition to Henyard's shady dealings. She stated, "Absolutely, I think she was behind it." Can you blame her? Henyard has a reputation for being ruthless when it comes to silencing her critics. She's even posted bizarre videos online mocking her detractors, including one where she filmed herself shoveling snow from Stubbs' driveway, as if to rub salt in the wound. Just when it seemed things couldn't get worse for Henyard, the FBI subpoenas started flying. Federal agents have been asking for all kinds of records, from employment files to financial reports. They're digging for information about everyone in Henyard's orbit, including village administrator Keith Freeman, who was charged with bankruptcy fraud earlier this year. The walls are definitely closing in.
Who would make a one-day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon? And the main thing is, what is it?
The whole situation is spiraling, and Henyard seems to be grasping at straws, doing anything she can to keep from sinking further into this mess. But with the FBI watching her every move, trying to bribe her way out was a colossal mistake. Now, the real question is, what's next for Henyard? As the investigations pile up, it seems only a matter of time before more dirt surfaces. Residents in Dolton have been demanding her resignation for months, and with bribery rumors swirling, it's hard to see how she can maintain her grip on power for much longer. The federal investigation is gaining momentum, and insiders say there's still a lot more to come. Trustees are doing everything they can to prevent Henyard from making things worse for the village, but they're also facing legal challenges and political games from her side. She's been vetoing their attempts to investigate her, even blocking their hiring of Lori Lightfoot to lead the financial probe. The tension is palpable, and it's clear this saga is far from over.
Employment. I don't believe that is legally correct. That's just not the way municipalities operate, right? You've got a board.
But here's the twist. The trustees overruled her veto, and Lightfoot's investigation is moving forward. When that report drops, it's bound to uncover even more of Henyard's questionable behavior. At this point, it's as if Henyard has built a fortress around herself, surrounded by allies like Lacey and a group of enablers who are either too intimidated to speak out or benefiting from her corrupt regime. But with the feds breathing down her neck, how much longer can she hold on? The town of Dolton is crumbling under her leadership, and residents are paying the price. They're watching their tax dollars vanish into Henyard's luxurious lifestyle, and their patience is running thin. Now let's tackle the big question on everyone's mind. What does this mean for Tiffany Henyard? If you thought things were bad for her before, just wait. The stakes are higher than ever, and if these bribery allegations turn out to be true, she could be facing some serious prison time. Trying to bribe a federal agent isn't just another slap on the wrist. This is the kind of charge that can land you behind bars for years.
Been reporting for nearly 2 years on allegations of corruption surrounding Henyard in her capacity as Dolton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor. And now we've learned from multiple sources that federal agents are in fact interviewing witnesses as part of a possible investigation that may or may not result in charges.
So what exactly is Henyard facing from a legal standpoint? Let's break it down. Bribery, especially involving federal agents, is one of the most serious charges in the United States. Federal bribery laws are stringent, and if convicted, Henyard could be looking at up to 15 years in prison. But that's not all. The FBI is also investigating her for other potential crimes, including fraud and corruption. This means it's not just one charge we're dealing with. We're looking at a whole web of criminal activity that's starting to unravel, with Henyard right at the center of it. The stakes are incredibly high, and the implications for her future could be dire.
All I can tell you is that I'm not going on anything. That's all I can tell you right now.
So I'm just trying to answer to the.
So you say there's a foundation that's not registered, but it has nothing to do with you.
Correct. That's true.
Okay.
That's
so
true.
you're not aware of any of the work that they've done, money that they've raised, anything along those lines.
Correct.
Legal experts are already weighing in on how much trouble Henyard could be in. Many believe that if she's convicted on all charges, she could face not only prison time but also hefty fines and possibly lose her position as mayor. We've seen similar cases before. Take former Detroit Mayor Quayne Kilpatrick, who received 28 years in prison for racketeering, bribery, and fraud. While Henyard's case hasn't escalated to that level yet, it's starting to look like it's heading in that direction. This isn't just a matter of bad governance anymore. It's about criminal liability, and the consequences could be severe.
Reached out to the FBI, which said it is policy for the agency not to comment on the nature, existence, or non-existence of any investigation that may be occurring. A public relations firm responded on behalf of the mayor, saying neither Henyard or the village of Dalton have received any subpoenas or been contacted by the FBI or any other law enforcement agency.
And speaking of criminal liability, let's not forget the party that got everyone talking in the first place. The infamous $85,000 taste of Thorne Township extravaganza. What was supposed to be a fun day for families turned into a scandal when it was revealed that Henyard had spent tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars on musical acts like K. Michelle and Jay Holiday. The kicker? The event was a complete disaster. Barely anyone showed up, leaving residents furious that their hard-earned money had been wasted on what former trustee Valeria Stubbs called a flop. Imagine spending that much on something that didn't even draw a crowd. But hey, it wasn't Henyard's money, so maybe she didn't care, right?
Very appreciative to receive the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993. And she's the best we ever had.
You know, you're doing a lot of programs, good programs for the senior citizens, and you're doing a lot of programs for, people who are on a fixed budget. Mm-hmm. But what about the people, the blue-collar people who are still carrying this time?
That party was just one example of Henyard's reckless spending. After the event, Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza had no choice but to cut off Henyard's access to state funds. That's right, she was banned from using village credit cards, except for board-approved purchases. And why? Because Henyard had been making extravagant and unauthorized purchases with taxpayer money. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot's investigation into Henyard's spending revealed that since taking office in 2021, the town of Dalton had plunged into a $3.6 million deficit. Lightfoot discovered that Henyard had been using public funds for everything from first-class flights to luxury hotels, and even spending tens of thousands on Amazon in a single day. It's the kind of financial mismanagement that sends up major red flags.
Yep, right. And Mike, Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard wanted the Board of Trustees to approve some events that she wants the township to pay for, but none of the trustees showed up for this special meeting tonight that left the meeting canceled and Henyard with the floor.
But Henyard didn't stop there. Even after being cut off from state funds, she continued to throw lavish parties and waste taxpayer money on events the town simply couldn't afford. Her defense? It's all for the babies, as if throwing an $85,000 party somehow benefited the children of Dalton. Residents were understandably outraged, and many have been calling for her resignation for months. True to form, Henyard hasn't backed down. In fact, she's doubled down on her claim that she's cleaned up the town, despite the undeniable fact that Dalton's finances are in absolute shambles. The disconnect between her statements and the reality on the ground is glaring, and the community's frustration continues to grow.
Y'all thought that I was young, dumb, didn't know nothing, was gonna let y'all come and manipulate me. I didn't do any of that. So because I didn't do any of that, you guys started this whole smear campaign.
What's even more shocking is that while all of this was happening, Henyard was busy playing political games with the trustees. At one point, she even vetoed the board's attempt to hire Lori Lightfoot to investigate her. Can you imagine? The board was trying to hold her accountable, and she shut it down. It wasn't until they overruled her veto that the investigation was allowed to move forward. Now that Lightfoot's report is out, it's clear why Henyard was so intent on keeping anyone from digging into her finances. The findings paint a troubling picture of mismanagement and misconduct, and it's becoming harder for her to maintain her claims of having cleaned up the town. The pressure is mounting, and the truth is finally starting to surface.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
The report didn't just highlight Henyard's reckless spending. It also pointed to major issues within the police department. 2 officers, including her close ally Deputy Police Chief Lissus Lacey, were found to have racked up more money in overtime than they earned in base pay. Lacey alone received over $200,000 in overtime, despite not being part of the village's collective bargaining agreement. Now, Lacey is facing his own set of legal troubles, having been indicted on bankruptcy fraud charges. It seems like everyone in Henyard's circle is either under investigation or on the verge of being so. It's like watching a house of cards collapse in slow motion, and the fallout is becoming impossible to ignore.
The FBI has been using electronic surveillance as part of its investigation. Agents are asking questions about Henyard's alleged use of taxpayer dollars and resources, including massive spending on out-of-town trips.
The drama doesn't end there. Henyard has also been accused of retaliating against anyone who dares to stand up to her. Take the case of former trustee Valeria Stubbs, whose home was shot up after she became one of Henyard's most vocal critics. Stubbs believes Henyard was behind the attack, labeling her a narcissist willing to do whatever it takes to maintain control. Whether that's true or not, it paints a pretty clear picture of the political environment Henyard has created in Dolton, one that is toxic and dangerous. The atmosphere of fear and intimidation is palpable, and it raises serious concerns about accountability and governance in the community.
They'll turn up more and more information. They'll turn up more leads. They may turn up more witnesses. They may find a cooperator. They may find an informant, all which will benefit the investigation tremendously.
But based on what we know now, if you're Tiffany Henyard, how are you feeling?
I would be nervous.
And let's not forget about Henyard's connection to the now infamous Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation. On the surface, this charity was supposed to help cancer patients, but there's a lot more going on beneath the surface. The foundation has come under fire for failing to disclose where its donations have gone, and there's speculation that Henyard may have been using the charity as a front for more shady dealings. Even her former assistant, who is now a trustee, has come forward to blow the whistle on what she describes as Henyard's unethical and predatory behavior. It seems like everyone close to Henyard is either jumping ship or getting caught up in their own legal troubles. The web of controversy surrounding her continues to grow, raising serious questions about her integrity and the foundation's true purpose.
This administration is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Henyard isn't going down without a fight. She has made it clear that she has no intention of stepping down as mayor, even as the investigations into her conduct continue to pile up. She's already facing a federal investigation, multiple lawsuits, and now a potential bribery charge. At this point, you have to wonder if she's living in a bubble where she believes she's untouchable. But with the FBI closing in and the residents of Dolton growing more impatient by the day, it's hard to see how Henyard can keep this charade going much longer. The pressure is mounting, and the walls are closing in.
There's also distributed a breakdown of the township's finances from 2017 to current, where Henyard's team says years ago they were in a deficit of more than $2 million. And now, today, under her administration, her team says there's a surplus of more than $6 million.
The town is in debt. Her closest allies are facing legal battles, and the walls are closing in. The question isn't if Henyard will fall, but when. And when it happens, you can bet it will be a spectacular collapse. Dolton has been left to pick up the pieces of her disastrous reign, and the damage she's done could take years to undo. For now, all eyes are on the next step in this unfolding drama. Will Henyard finally face the consequences of her actions, or will she continue to evade accountability just as she has for years? The community is watching, and the tension is palpable as this saga unfolds.
That's right, Dawn and Terrence. Tonight's meeting had a much different tone than what we've experienced previously at Dalton City Council meetings. Now, the room was full of Henyard supporters, and they wanted me to be sure to tell you that they applauded for her several times as she talked about the township being in a great place financially. Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard.
The next few months will be crucial in determining Henyard's fate. The residents of Dalton are tired, frustrated, and fed up with their so-called super mayor acting as if she's above the law. As the investigations continue to gain momentum, it's only a matter of time before the truth comes to light, and when it does, there's no telling what new scandals might emerge. But one thing's for sure, Tiffany Henyard's days as the untouchable queen of Dalton are numbered. The community is ready for accountability, and the pressure is mounting for her to finally face the consequences of her actions.
Pick up the cake to offer to our seniors, and they told us your card doesn't work. And I stand in the fight because I want the boys and girls of the next generation to see what it looks like to come out of controversy and to come out of all the hatred unscathed. At the end of the day, God gives the test to his strongest soldiers.
So, what do you think? Is Henyard's reign finally coming to an end, or will she find a way to slip out of this mess like she has so many times before? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this wild saga, because trust us, this story is far from over. Stay tuned.